Tuesday. Week 5 already. Network security. I don't remember if I mentioned in class, but the exams are all turned on. The chapter exams, and there's a couple packet tracer exams are on. We logged into vSphere and then they changed their password. And that is a local login. So they can just experiment there. We covered some more security basics. We'll talk about that. And they got quite a ways in the lab. I still believe they have to do some syslog things, and we may do that on the main. Whoa, an S in there. Syslog. We may do that on the main network. Thursday, we're going to finish this up. Really finish up Chapter 2, Administrative Procedures. At least the first level of those, and see how that applies to our network here on campus, and review the lab. And prep for Radius and AAA. Not the auto service. Anyway, Chapter 3. There's a number of, PC and network things we should just know at this level already. We talked about network availability, and I'll write the other two up there. Confidentiality and integrity. Alright. Build security around those. Should know, we talked about the threats, viruses, malware. We just briefly reviewed those. Talked about attacks. We said we're going to split them into 3 groups: reconnaissance, access, and denial of service. And we elaborated a little bit on those. You can, they cross over, but we can think of a lot of the things between those 3. We talked about network security domains. This kind of gives you an overall view of things you have to be aware of. How much risk there is. So we talked a little bit about, we have assets, there's a threat. Are they vulnerable to the threat? Could it happen? And could somebody carry out the threat? Is there a threat agent? Put all that together and you can determine your risk. And then if your risk, you will accept the threat, try to mitigate the threat, or remove the threat. If you're worried about your email server getting hacked into, well, you can pay somebody to do your email services. You can move it to the cloud. Now, moving to the cloud doesn't mean it's secured, but you can move the threat, get rid of the threat. We talked a little bit about buying insurance. Okay, that's happening with ransomware. People are worried about ransomware, so you can literally buy insurance. So if you do get attacked, the insurance company will help pay the ransom, which is probably a terrible idea. Security policies. A lot of the things we talk about down below should be referenced in the security policy. Organization of information security. We talk a little bit about data classification and so forth. Asset management, how you manage your assets. Add, take out, how you secure them, so forth. Human resources security, huge amount of information there that has to be secured. How you manage that. Physical and environmental security. Some data centers are supposedly be able to withstand an E5 tornado. That would be environmental. Okay, there were some places used to keep their data communications equipment in the basement. They don't anymore. In places where there might be floods. Are your closets locked? Who has access to them? And so forth. We don't spend a lot of time on that, but that makes sense. How do you manage communications and operations? Okay. You know, there should be a whole level of talk in your security policy about how you handle email, who can send, who can receive, who can see what emails. You know, how do you manage all the communications? You know, how do you manage your social media communications to the outside world? How do you make sure those things don't create a threat to the security internally? Information's acquisitions, development, and maintenance. Where do you acquire? How do you put the new stuff into place? And how do you maintain it? Anytime you make changes, that's crucial that, first of all, the right people verify that you can do the change, and then the right people are notified of the change and so forth. Access control. Endpoint security. Big thing nowadays. How do we manage in and out of the network? If something does go wrong, call your lawyers first, right? Incident management. Call your lawyers first, and we should have that again. A lot of these fit in the security policy. You should have a very clear policy on how to handle that. Business continuity. The business needs to function without worrying about these. Is that right? I mean, these should be taken care of, and the business should be able to thrive. You know, how do you manage business continuity? How do you keep the right data available to the right people, and that doesn't get changed? This also refers to your legal, part of your legal compliance. Are you meeting the requirements for managing data? Data classification. You have certain data that you have to be more secure than other data. And even in your network, we segment the networks to try not to allow the movement across those segments in terms of securing. All right. And then the rest of the day, the students worked on the labs. That's it.